Wall Street to Main Street to help small business owners have the same capital as corporate America and give them the same resources as a larger company. We cover business funding, business credit, scaling, business consulting, and much more. Check out the website at shieldadvisorygroup.com. Welcome to the show, The Liquid Lunch Project.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the next episode of the Liquid Lunch Project. I'm here with my partner in crime and my co-host, Luigi, the Professor Rosa Bianca. And today we have a really special guest for you guys. He's one of my favorite online social media influencers. His story is just, it's tremendous. And I think everybody needs to hear it because not only is it inspiring, but it's a journey that most people have never been on. And you're about to see what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to let Zach tell his whole story. Welcome, Zach Babcock. How are you today?
Yo, what's up, Matthew? What's up, Luigi? Excited to be here today, man. How you guys doing?
It's great to have you.
Yeah, man.
So, thanks for coming on, man. We really appreciate you being here. Brother, you got so much going on, from being one of the most talked about Clubhouse personalities to running podcasts and getting celebrities on left and right. But the journey didn't start there. So let's start from the beginning so the audience gets a feel for who you are, where you come from, and more importantly, let's talk about where you're about to go.
100%, man. Hey, I appreciate that. I'll give a super Cliff Notes version if we want to dive in deeper. All good. I don't know about you guys yet, but have you ever had somebody come on your show yet and you ask them a simple question and they start talking for like 30 minutes and you're like, bro, where's the dialogue at? Yeah,
no,
man.
Zach, that's never happened.
Well, you're lucky, man, because it happened to me quite a bit, man. It's you learn to get good at like interjecting as a host and start like, making it entertaining again for everybody that's listening. But yeah, man. Dude, I grew up in Ferguson, Missouri. It's got a huge bad rap because of the Michael Brown situation that happened. That's where I was born and raised, or I moved there when I was 7. I didn't have a father figure. I wanted to fit in so bad with the crowd that I would do stuff that was outside of my character growing up in order to fit in. Probably more than what your average person would do because everybody does it. And that I just made a lot of poor decisions, didn't have any chief aim in life, and ended up doing some prison time. Was in and out of juvenile detentions, group homes, all that stuff throughout my adolescence. And then by the time I was 19, I went away on a 7-year sentence. Did 4 years flat, got out for 2 years, and then I went back just 20 days before my twin sons were born. And Matthew, Luigi, that was it for me, dude. Missing out on my twin son's birth. I said, I'm done. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew I was going to move in a different direction in my life. And a lot's happened since then, but here we are. So yeah, that's the Cliff Notes version.
That's amazing. So why don't you tell everybody what you did when you got out and how you got into this podcasting world, this atmosphere, because you're really taking this on by storm, and I'm extremely impressed, man. So let's talk about the beginnings of the podcasting for you and how you've actually blown up since then. Yeah,
man, for sure, dude. So when I got out, I came home, no job, nothing. Was trying to get a job for about a month and a half. Nothing, just getting shot down left and right for being a convicted felon. And then I became an entrepreneur. And I got laughed at for the next 3.5 years. Literally, anytime I tried to collaborate with anybody, they're like, man, who's this ex-convict trying to be a business owner? Like it was a laughing stock pretty much. But then I launched Underdog Empowerment in 2018. And didn't know what I was doing, but I was just learning on the go. I was watching YouTube videos, how to put a podcast together and picking brains of other people that had podcasts. Launched it. I got it ranked on day 3. Following week had Billie Jean as marketing on the show. And it's just been a crazy spiral of upwards momentum ever since. It, my opinion's super biased. Obviously, I got a whole business around podcasting, but it literally changed my life and put me in the game. And I just kept on stacking up the momentum from there, brick by brick by brick, and it's grown into what it has today. So literally 1 week, I went from people laughing at me to becoming a top-rated podcaster and interviewing some pretty cool people.
That's amazing, man. So who would you say influenced you to get into podcasting, or what drove you towards that?
This is a funny story, bro. All right, so if you know me already, I make fun of from time to time fun of the ClickFunnels community. I call them the the dick funnel community. And if cussing's not allowed on your podcast, make sure the team edits that deal out. My bad. But because I don't align with their core values, man. I feel like they're really like shady and like cringy and like I don't know the word to use for it, slimy. You know what I'm saying? It just, I don't know. I just don't resonate with it. Now, Russell Brunson's a freaking genius. The dude is like so much smarter than me. Like the dude is a marketing like genius. I am not taking away from him. But anyways, at the time though, I was all in on ClickFunnels and Russell Brunson, and I was going through the Funnel Hacks Masterclass. And long story short, one of his modules in there, he was talking about how one of his clients was having a hard time finding any opportunity. And then he launched his show and all these doors opened up for him. And I was like, I had been doing YouTube for 2 years straight, almost 2 years straight, 3 videos a week, building my other brand at that point with no traction. I'm like, man, at this point, I'm just throwing stuff at the wall, seeing what sticks. And so I launched a podcast and the same thing happened. It just opened up all these opportunities.
That's awesome, man. I was a big fan of Underdog Empowerment, and I used to listen to it all the time. I still do. However, we really didn't get to know each other until we started running in the same circles, whether it's Arate or Apex. And this guy. Now we're doing business together. And it's just a snowball effect when you put yourself in the right room. How much do you attribute to the success of your podcast and putting yourself in the right room? And more importantly, giving yourself the opportunity to get you from where you were to where you are now?
Dude, everything, man. I know it's so cliche and everybody says it, but cliches are cliches for a reason, man, because most of the time they're true. Your network, the people you surround yourself is everything, dude. Like when I was hanging out with losers in my life, I was getting loser results. I was going to prison. I was just throwing my life away and not happy. And then, when I was coming home from prison that last time, I didn't know anything of how to do what I'm doing now. I didn't even know what exactly I was going to do. I just knew I wanted to be in my kid's life. The only thing I did know is that I had to change my people, places, and things. Did that, started hanging out with winners, started winning, man. It's everything, dude. And so the thing with like podcasting, for an example, there's so many like benefits for building a dominant brand using a podcast. There's so many benefits in that regard, but bar none, the hands down, the best thing is the relationships you get to build. Like, dude, I sat down face to face with Andy Frisilla a couple of times. I'm not trying to drop any names, but I would never have that opportunity elsewise. At least I don't think, I don't know too many people that get 30 minutes of his time once a year or whatnot, and to pick his brain about anything unless they have a platform or something that's valuable to him too at the same time. So yeah, man, it's relationships are everything, man.
So it opened up a lot of opportunities for you, which is an amazing thing, because me and Luigi are big believers in, business deals may go good, they may go bad, but as long as you have a good relationship at the end of the day, you can still move forward and you don't burn any bridges. We're big believers in relationships across the board. I know Luigi has a couple questions for you too, so I'm going to let him jump in.
Hey, Zach, first of all, we love working with you, and this is like an honor having you here because you're teaching us a lot more than we could ever teach you, so we appreciate it. The one thing I've always been curious is, you're a smart guy, you're a hardworking guy. When you got home, what was it about the podcast medium that was so attractive to you? Like, why do you think you're able to succeed so much doing podcasts versus, look, you're a type of guy, I put you in a car dealership, you'll be the number one car dealer out there, right? I'll if I give you a shoe shine box, you'll make the best shoe shine out there. So like, what is it about the podcast medium that is so attractive to you? Because Zach, ultimately, if we don't like what we do, we're not going to be good at it. Yeah,
man. You know what, man? What was so crazy is, backtrack real quick. Yeah, you're probably right about me being able to teach you something about like from a marketing perspective, but you guys on the finance game, man, I like to talk about that here in a little bit too, because that was my glaring weakness heading into 2021. And I'm still, I got so much to learn, but I've been just solely focused on leveling up how we run our business finances, how we do our personal finances, investing strategy, and creating generational wealth, all that good stuff. So I know you guys can put me on a lot of game there. But yeah, man, you know what's crazy, bro, is when I started the podcast, I didn't even want to start a podcast because at the time I didn't even like it. I was more of a video guy. That's why I had the video with the YouTube channel. But once I launched it and I had the killer results, well, then I was like, okay, well, maybe this podcast thing is something. But I fell in love with it through the process of the long form content, of being able to really, I mean, you're listening to this podcast right now. You probably feel like you're a part of this conversation, sitting down with me, Luigi, and Matthew, like a fly on the wall of a real intimate conversation. You don't really get that from like a Facebook post, you know what I'm saying? Or, you know, a TikTok or whatever. You could still connect with other people on different mediums, but this way is like a more personal, like really connected. And so I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, but I use the podcast as just being real, being myself. And it's like the top of the funnel. I funnel everybody to my podcast. If you start listening to my podcast and really get to know, like, and trust me, and we're a good fit for each other, there's a potential of you becoming a client of mine or me becoming a client of yours, or us just doing some cool JV stuff together. So yeah, sorry for going down the tangent.
No worries, brother.
No, we really appreciate that, but there's also a flip side. I mean, your message resonates with people. I mean, I think one of the reasons you like this format is also you have so much to say, and people listen not just because they're listening, but because they're hearing what you're saying. So, so what's the next phase in Zach's 2021? What's the Underdog Empowerment 2.0?
That's crazy. You called it Underdog Empowerment 2.0. That's the hint I'll give away. But I've been talking about this brand that I'm going to launch when I get this 6-pack. And it's funny, guys, because I'm not even going to launch it right when I get the 6-pack. That's just part of it. There's so much other stuff. But like, I know some people would hear me talking like, oh, you're waiting for the perfect moment to launch it. No, I'm not. I'm going to launch this deal really soon here, but I'm putting strategic pieces together. But basically, it's the evolution of Underdog Empowerment. Because, dude, what I realized, man, last year, December 26th, we moved into this house that we're in now. Before that, we were living at our old house that we lived in for many years. And our daughter, our 2.5-year-old daughter, was sleeping in our closet because we didn't have enough room for her, you know? And so now we moved into this nice home, paid cash, you know, things are great. You know, I got the vision that's so much bigger than where I'm at currently, and I'm still super ambitious. But what I realize is that I did everything that they said I couldn't do. I got a sign that's behind this computer. It says, I'm coming for everything they said I couldn't have. I see it now. Now I got to get a sign that says I did everything they said I couldn't do. Because now I'm still out there. Like anybody that ever like doubts me, like, you know, I'm still going to tap into that underdog mentality, but I'm all about this legacy play now. And I'm vertically integrating all these things like podcast powertrain. I stepped away as CEO and I'm working, 16 hours a week now. I've been doing that all year, which is crazy. And we're not even a 7-figure business yet. We're scaling to 7, but we're still scaling. And I remove myself. I'm like doing it so unorthodox because, all right, you got me fired up, dude. I'm sorry, going down a bunch of different ways, but
love it. Go for it.
Keep going, brother.
Yeah, I mean, like there's so many business owners, dude. Like, so when we start, sometimes we have a vision, but it's not as clear as the journey goes on. It gets more clear, right? And more aligned. But a lot of us start because we want time and financial freedom. Well, then we get into the business and we struggle for 2 to 3 years trying to figure it out. And then we break through and then we hit 6 figures pretty quickly after that. And then we're all jacked up and excited. And we forgot why we started in the first place. And then now we just work all the time. Grind. I got to scale. But dude, at 6 figures, you can literally remove yourself from most of the business. Not all, maybe, but I think you could. But you can literally remove yourself from a lot of the business where you can get your time freedom. And that's what I've been able to do for myself this year. And I'm not like I said, we're not at 7 figures yet, but we're getting there. And I make good enough money right now to live my lifestyle where it is, and it continues to grow. For me, I know what winning looks like to me, and that's being in my kids' life and being present every single day and still growing the business. Can I have all of that? So long story short, this new brand that I'm launching, dude, it's the Underdog 2.0. It's some pretty cool stuff. I've been working on it. It's a lifestyle brand, man. It's this basic stuff, like a set of core values that you live and die by, and that's who you are as an identity. And you go out and you get things done, and it's gonna be pretty exciting, man. Can't wait to drop that.
So Zach, you mentioned the words core values, and I'm a big believer in them. You mentioned them twice. When did these two words together, core and values, start coming up in your life, and when did they actually make a change in your life?
Man, I think we all have them. Like we have an internal compass, right, that guides us, right, of things that we stand for and things that we won't stand for. but I didn't really understand, like, have it put out to me core values. Like, I heard it a couple years back, but really, Andy Frisella, man, drilling down on that, and not just Andy, but like other mentors that I've had in my life. And they talk about, like, to really build that culture within your company, or that culture within your family, or that culture within your community. You got to have a set of core values that guide you for the time. It's like your North Star. Whenever you need to make a decision, especially those tough decisions, you're kind of like, I don't know. Well, does it align with my core values of who I am as a person and my mission in life? Yes. Okay. Then maybe we could do this. No, then absolutely not. And if you live and die by that, you make every single hiring, firing, recognizing, promoting, all that decision, you build a culture of people, and you attract the people that love and thrive in that type of culture. And then, man, I never really understood what it meant until recently, but you could do so much more with more people, the right people, than you could ever do by yourself.
100%. Zach, you don't just talk about core values, you live by them. And I'll tell all the listeners right here, me and Zach were at a mastermind, and I invited Zach to go out for an after party. And Zach's like, hey man, I'd love to, but I can't. It's just, I got to get home to my kids the next day. He took a red eye home to be there for his kid's first football game, right? So that mastermind went out late. Zach did the right thing, got on the plane, because that's what mattered to most. When most people speak about core values, I can tell you first off, Zach lives by them. And everything that he does is intentional. So the fact that he's not waiting for the right moment to let everybody know about this business, he's playing chess, not checkers, guys. So I'm really excited to see what Underdog 2.0 brings to the table.
Hey man, I appreciate that. It's crazy too, because I remember, and I remember when that happened, I took a screenshot and I blocked out your name. So, I'm not going to put a private conversation out there or whatnot, but I made a post. This is like the reason why that means so much to me is I see too many and maybe it's because of my own experience in life. My dad died when I was 7. I held baggage for decades plus. Literally just about a month and a half ago, I was in the woods, and literally, like, I do these journal exercises and hiking and stuff, and like I broke down like a little girl, crying like a little girl, because I had daddy issues and I realized that I was holding on to this hurt and this anger towards my dad because he left my mom at 7, then died a few months later. And I thought, like, to me, that the message was like he didn't love and care about me, but that's not the case. But and so anyways, long story short, I used to play football as a kid, and I would see all my friends' dads at practice, and I used to wonder how that felt, and I couldn't wait for the opportunity to be a dad. And so I don't know, I see. And I was even doing this myself before this year. Like, I got to the point where I was just so grinding on the business to where I wasn't even present with my kids. The little hour or two that I was spending with them a day, I was glued to my phone. You know what I'm saying? And so it starts at home, man, home in order, and, being present and doing the right thing for which is being a good dad. That just means a lot to me. So I appreciate that you brought that up, man.
I love it, man. And I'm watching on social media from far. You're doing an amazing job.
Thank you, brother. You too, man.
Hey, Matt, this guy keeps this up. We're going to have to change his name. We're going to go from Underdog to Alpha Dog.
Bro,
hey, Zach, look, you do so much for us.
You're like a what do you call it? A psychic or something, man, bro. Because you're talking about Underdog 2.0, and then you're talking about Alpha Dog, and like that's kind of like really close to. All right, dude, it's Alpha Underdog is the name of the brand. It's the evolution.
And you heard it here first, guys. You heard it here first. The Liquid Lunch Project.
Yeah, man. Alpha Underdog. I can't wait to launch. That thing's gonna be so dope. But it's the evolution of Underdog Empowerment, because, like, we're all underdogs, right? We all, no matter what. If you're striving for something you never had in life, you're an underdog. If you never accomplished something, you're striving for new heights. And then a lot of times, though, a lot of underdogs don't win, but the alpha underdogs do. They don't care what kind of odds are faced or stacked against them or who doesn't believe in them. They have a clear vision and strong reasons why that vision has to happen, and they're going to do whatever it takes to level up and win. So yeah, man, I'm excited about it.
Matt and I believe in that so much. We literally talk about this all the time. When you're growing a business and you're growing your little mini empire, it's always best to be the small fish in a big pond. It's the best way to grow.
Heck yeah, man. Hey, question. I want to ask you guys real quick. It's kind of shifting gears or whatever, but I just want to ask you guys a question, man. So, like, I got serious about, like I was telling you guys earlier, about finances and stuff this year. and I started investing in March. Nothing crazy. I downloaded the Robinhood app and wanted to play with stocks and start to learn this stuff, and dumped about 4K in there, and just playing around with it. And so I've been doing a lot of that, whatever. But so like what I'm shaping my investing strategy to, and I want to hear you guys if you think it's a good, strategy or not. But my thing is I want to be super aggressive now while I'm younger in investing. And I want to play the long game. I don't like day trading. I'm not saying that I'd be against it, but I'm more of like, let's play the long game and do the big boy stuff. And so what I'm doing is, every single month, I allocate a percentage of my personal income towards investing, and I put it in a separate account, and I'm letting it accumulate in that account, and I'll buy stock or something whenever it dips, and I feel like it's a really good bargain at that price, and I like that stock. I'll buy it then, or in bear markets is when I'll have a lot to dump in, because I know that's when the real millionaires are made or whatnot. Whenever, at least that's what I hear, is like when the market crashes and everybody's freaking out, and if you got some reserves that you could dump in and get it for the cheap, that's the way to go. What do you guys think of that strategy?
John D. Rockefeller, when there's blood in the streets, it's time to buy, right? It's exactly what he's talking about, a bear market crash. Now, guys, just for everybody listening, I don't manage money anymore. I actually, I haven't been a financial advisor since the last 6 years, but I can tell you what I think personally, right? I think you're doing a great job. I think you should look at some strategies that can defer your taxes, right? Or give you a tax benefit from the business side, such as traditional IRAs, personal IRAs. But since you're self-employed, a SEP IRA, we can connect you with Dan Blue. You probably know Dan Blue. We started with some self-directed IRAs as well, right? This way you can let the money grow. If it's a long-term strategy that you're not going to touch for a while, you get some tax benefits that way as well.
Right on, man. Yeah, dude. I heard some other stuff too about life insurance. Like I don't understand it fully, but they said like if you get a certain kind of life insurance, I can't remember what he said. It acts as like a bank where there's no taxes on it. You can pull in and out, no fees or whatnot, and there's like compound interest on it at the same time. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, it's called an infinite banking strategy, right? Generally, I'm not an expert on it, but you overfund a whole life policy where you can borrow it against yourself is pretty much the gist of it. John DeGroff was recently talking about that. He was on our show the other day. I'll connect with you with him as well, right? Because he's definitely an expert there. That one is not really something that I can talk too much on, so I don't want to get too into it, right? Our focus over here at Shield is mostly growing businesses and getting businesses access to capital, making sure their companies are structured properly. So when the time comes that they're looking to scale, right, all their ducks are in a row and they're bankable, rather than using these high cost, high interest, other ways of funding their business.
Bro, I need to jam out with you guys then, because I probably made a mistake. I mean, it's not like it's something that, but anyways, we got a Stripe loan through a Stripe account. And what we did is we took that and put it into the reserve accounts, and it also helped with some investments or whatnot. But the interest rate, it was like a fixed fee. It wasn't nothing crazy, but it was still like, I can't remember the exact numbers, but we're still paying, we pay off 20% of every single transaction that comes through until it's paid off or whatever. But I should probably holler at you guys next time when we're trying to get some capital. Yeah,
let me know. That's a merchant cash advance, right? So the way Stripe does it is they take 20% probably every day what goes in. So let's just use easy numbers here. If $1,000 goes in, they're going to take $200 of that $1,000 to pay back the loan. The next day, though, if you have a $10,000 day, right, they're going to take $2,000 from that as well. So it's a set fee that goes back, but it's also known as a merchant cash advance, right? There's a time and a place for them because the access to capital is quick. However, don't get caught on those because you want to start building your business credit. You want to make sure your company's structured properly, right? Because there's no reason in the world, once your personal credit, your business credit's in place, and you have the time in the business, that you can go get an unsecured credit line from a bank, and you don't have to pay interest on that money until you need to use it or whatever you take outstanding. So, for example, if you got a $50,000 business line of credit from a bank, right, and you only use $10,000 of it, you're only paying interest on that $10,000 portion rather than the whole thing. And those are monthly payback terms rather than the daily repeating out of your Stripe account.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I need to jam with you guys. Long story short, there's a lot there. Obviously you've mastered your craft, and I'm sitting here like learning about this for the first time. But long story short, I'm not getting another Stripe loan. I'm gonna call Matthew and Luigi next time we go get some capital.
Well, Zach, isn't that part of the secret, right? To surround yourself with trusted advisors and good partners, right? We can't know everything. Look, if it wasn't for you, we'd be bumbling idiots with podcasts, right? But you helped us out. And the same thing goes. And loans with businesses, it's almost like cooking, right? You don't take a chocolate cake and then say, all right, let me take the eggs out of it. Let me take the flowers out of it. Let me take the chocolate out of it. No, you get the ingredients and then you bake the cake based upon those ingredients, right? So the key here is to create the fundamentals of that business to bake the cake that you want, right? So if the plan is to grow or to create alpha underdog empowerment, or maybe create a larger staff or maybe a second location, we have to nurture the underlying fundamentals to get to that point, right? Because by the time you got to Stripe, the reality was there. You had to deal with the circumstances as they were, right? But if you know where you want to go, we could help you set those cornerstones in place to get there. Kind of reverse engineer the needs.
So it's kind of like what you're doing right now. You're setting things in motion for your launch. So when your launch is ready, these things are already in place. So you do that day one from your business. By the time you're ready to scale and you need outside capital to fuel your growth, you're already set up.
Boom. Yeah.
Just look at it that way.
Dude, the analogies, bro. The analogies. Hey, one other thing real quick I dig about you guys, man. Like for example, when I was sitting there asking about the life insurance, and you're like, I know the understanding concept, but I haven't mastered that skill, so I can't really go into deep on that. But here's what I have mastered, and here's what I do know. And then you start talking about the business loans and getting funding. I appreciate that, man. I don't know about you guys, but man, I that's one reason why I got off of Clubhouse, because everybody knew everything on there. And there was people giving horrible advice. Like somebody would ask a question and this person was trying to give them advice and they never even done it before. And I'm like, dude, I'm really intentional about what type of content I consume. I want to consume legit stuff, not this fake garbage, dude.
Yeah, there was
Zach, Matt and I had to come off of Clubhouse because we were the only people in Clubhouse not making $100 million a year.
Bro, you ain't lying, man.
I don't know, man. I thought that was going to be a winner. I would have put my money on that, but now I think there's going to be you know what it is? There was way too much competition. They really didn't have anything that was proprietary that Facebook can't copy, or that Twitter can't copy, or even Spotify has something now with rooms and audio rooms. So, and I think the way they rolled it out was a little convoluted. They only rolled it out to iPhone users at first, right? If they would have rolled it out to everybody, or at least when it started getting some traction, open it up to Android, it probably would have had a lot more users at that point too.
Yeah, Matt, you're absolutely right. It was the Model T complex. The Model T was the Model T 20 years after they made the Model T. So while every other manufacturer was doing different models and convertibles and different colors, the plain old black Model T was always there. So they didn't evolve, and others evolved, and that's going to be their downfall.
Yeah, man. That, and even on any platform, because like you get the fake people on every platform, right? They're just there. They're on TikTok, they're on Facebook, they're on whatever. The thing with that platform specifically, the median or whatever you call it, how you consume with audio and everybody's talking. Now you actually got to hear these fake people, and it's like, I said, I quit in January and I changed my, my bio on Clubhouse, said Clubhouse is lame AF, right? And then that's just what's on my Clubhouse bio right now. But
AF, that's fuck. Is that what you meant?
You can touch here. I didn't know. Yeah, it's lame as fuck. Super lame as fuck. And so I said, though, if I did come back to Clubhouse, and this would be the case with whatever audio platform ends up doing it, if I end up do coming back, I might have to figure out a growth strategy that doesn't involve me having to go in other people's rooms, because that's what I was doing to grow, and I grew it hella quick. But then you got to listen to the fake people. I'm going to do it to where if I go back, it's going to be hosted rooms with only people I know and know are legit on the stage. So I ain't got to hear that nonsense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, my grandmother used to have a saying that said, listen twice as much as you speak, especially when you first enter a room. The thing is, I didn't want to listen anymore a couple of times after hearing these people speak.
Trying to get some earplugs for that, man.
That's awesome, man. Hey, brother, I know you have some courses out there and your company's blowing up. Where can everybody find you? Because I know the listeners, everybody that listens to this podcast always connects with us and says, how do we start our podcast? Of course, we refer to you. Give them an easy way to find you, whether it's Instagram, some of the courses you have out there. Tell the audience and the listeners where they can find the great Zachary Babcock.
For sure, dude. I appreciate that. Real quick, let me ask you a question. I should ask this before we even got jamming. Do you guys have like do you have a WordPress website?
Us? No.
Okay, no worries. Do you have like any piece of software that lets you mask links? What I mean by that is like if you get a link, sometimes you'll get like an affiliate link and it'll be like whatever capital T7 GG8, you know, something that you can't like say and remember, right?
Yeah, we could do it off Kajabi. I think our website's built off Kajabi. So,
and so you can create links, but also redirect them to the funny looking link, but make it look like cool.
Correct.
Like,
yeah,
dude. So make up something right now. What I want to do is I got an affiliate program. I didn't even tell you about it, but dude, so if you're wanting to start a freaking podcast, we took $7,400, all of our courses that sell for that much collectively, bundled them all together for $97. And then with you guys, you can, you know, say the link of where they can get that at. And then I'll shoot you guys the actual affiliate link. And then we'll even, we'll call, if you use coupon code LIQUID, it'll knock it down to 47. And I'll tell you what, these courses will show you exactly everything that you need to know to launch your podcast, all the tech stuff. I recorded these courses so I don't have to talk about that stuff anymore because I didn't like doing it. Shows you how to get ranked on Apple, how to grow your audience, how to interview the celebrities. I put all my template scripts and systems in for that whole process, and how to monetize your podcast, a whole bunch of different ways to do that for $47. And then that way you guys, because you guys are putting all this blood, sweat, and tears into building your own podcast, anybody that goes through your link and uses your promo code, they get a special incentivized, and you guys get paid, you know, for making the referral. What's a good link that you guys can use for that?
I'll set something up. We could do Shield Advisor Group /Underdog.
Perfect.
We'll do that. I'll set that up. By the time this episode comes out, we'll be scheduled and it'll be ready to go.
shieldadvisor.com/underdog. Use promo code LIQUID and you're going to be in there. You get those courses. Definitely check that out. And then, yeah, man, if you just want to come check out me and anything I got going on, go to underdogempowerment.com. Right there on the front page, I got a podcast section. If you want to listen to the podcast, there's buttons. You can subscribe to whichever one you want. And down at the very bottom are all my socials, and we can connect there as well.
Awesome, brother. Hey, listen, one last thing before we let you go. So we ask the same question to every single guest that comes on the show. And a lot of the answers are similar, but I want to see what it means to Zach Babcock. What does success mean to you?
Whew, bro, I fucking love you guys. Like I see, dude, that's like the thing I've been preaching consistent. I just made a post. Literally, if you go to Underdog Empowerment Facebook group, I just made a post on this. Literally just 5 minutes before we started this interview. And dude, here's my thing, man. Too many people are doing shit that they don't want to do to impress people that they don't even like. And they're trying to chase Joe Blow's version of success because they don't even know what success means to them. You got to define what success means to me, you, because, you know, I might be successful as fuck and living what winning looks like to me. And then if you try and do it, you would end up being miserable because that's not what would make you happy. You know what I'm saying? People think that, you know, oh, I'm going to do what society thinks is successful, and it would kill them inside. So for me, what success looks like for me is dominating not just business, but mind, body, soul, business, and relationships. Not having it balanced, because there's no such thing as balance, but living in harmony with that, man, and being present in all situations, being there as a dad and a husband, creating generational wealth through all my companies and my ventures, making lasting impact with a 9% recidivism rate or lower in the US with convicted life. Very clear, specific things of what winning looks like to me. And so for what winning looks like for me for the next 15-ish years this is what I want to do. I'm going to drop this book, this badass book. I'm shooting for New York Times bestseller. Not like I'm going big with this thing, right? But that's what's going to put me in the game to get these speaking engagements. And then the speaking engagements get paid $20K to $100K per speaking engagement. Do that 6 to 12 times a year and have my family come out and travel with me so they get to see me murder the stage. And then right afterwards, we get to go hiking in nature in a nearby area while my kids are still young and they get to see that. That's what winning looks like to me, and that's what I'm going after.
I told you guys, he's very intentional. He had this all written out, and he didn't know the question beforehand.
Dude, that's funny you say I got it on my vision board, right? I do some really funny stuff, but it makes it cool. But I took this dude speaking on stage to thousands of people, and then I photoshopped my head. I got a little beard and stuff, so it looks funny or whatever. And then my family's head's in the crowd, and then I put 20 to 100K 6 to 12 times a year, and then hike in the nature afterwards. And so I see it on my vision board, and yeah, that's just part of it. You can put whatever on your vision board. You got to take the action, but I know where I'm going, man. It's so key to know what winning means to you.
I love it, brother. Thank you for being here again. It means the world to us. And we're definitely going to have you back on once Alpha Underdog is released.
Hey,
Yeah.
Absolutely. They say it's always darkest before the dawn. And right now it's high noon in Zach Babcock world. I'm proud of you, man.
Hey, man. Appreciate you guys, man. Thanks for having me today, man. I had a blast.
All right. Guys, thanks for tuning in again, and we'll see you on the flip side on another episode of the Liquid Lunch Project.
Thank you for listening to the show. And make sure you subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend. We'll see you on the next episode of the Liquid Lunch Project.